This is New York. There are more and bigger businesses here than anywhere else in America. But one of the most exciting stories I know is happening in Houston. As a venture capitalist, I've helped start quite a few companies over the years, most of them in technology industries. That was how my relationship with Compaq began in 1982. The personal computer industry was really taking off in 1982 when the proposal for starting Compaq was brought to us. There were dozens of startup companies, big companies, giant companies, all getting into it. In fact, some of the biggest and oldest have headquarters just a few blocks from here. So we were cautious about starting another PC company. But venture capitalists invest more in people than in good products or ideas. From the start, that's what was different about Compaq, its people. Today, Compaq is an unprecedented success. Not one of the companies here, and not any other company of any kind across America, has been as successful as quickly as Compaq. Its business achievements are simply unparalleled in history. At the start, and today, the single thing that has most distinguished Compaq is this: Compaq has the right people and the right environment for teamwork. Compaq has always attracted people with the desire and the ability to do things that have never been done before. Combine those people with the climate of teamwork that you find at Compaq, and you've got something really special.
We were small, a few dozen people with a good idea about how to make personal computers. We also had some pretty clear ideas about the kind of company we wanted to work for. This is where we began our manufacturing just a few years ago. As we raised money to develop and produce our first product, the Compaq Portable, we began to build our team and had the rare opportunity to also create the kind of company that we all wanted. Compaq was growing fast in a new competitive market. We needed experienced people who could work together. So a strong sense of teamwork grew with the company. We saw ourselves as building a multi-billion-dollar company, even though there weren't many of us then. We had to make the most of our resources, so we constantly reminded each other to do what makes sense. And if something doesn't make sense to you, speak up. To ensure that you say and do what makes sense, you have to be open. You have to be willing to listen. And to avoid mistakes, you have to encourage people to say what they think. Today, we still rely on these same ideas at Compaq.
We did not go off trying to invent a culture or a particular type of environment. We knew that we wanted something that allowed us to enjoy ourselves. The environment that we ended up with ultimately is a result of a lot of extraordinarily good people.
At the outset, it was very clear to Rod and Jim and the initial startup team at Compaq that they had a fairly narrow window of opportunity, and they knew that they couldn't make too many wrong decisions. So that culture of working the issues on major decisions until it was crystal clear, going down all the paths till it was crystal clear that that was most likely the right decision, is what allowed them to hit that window of opportunity very narrow.
Well, I know in the beginning we were very conscious of getting quality people in to do a quality job. And I think we were very conscious of exactly what we wanted in the company from the very beginning. And I think we've continued to look for that type person and that type environment.
The idea of a corporate culture can mean different things to different people. All we really want to talk about is the people here at Compaq, the kind of environment we've created, and the decision-making process we use to set the right goals and priorities. From the beginning, we've introduced important new products every few months. At that speed, you have to have a culture that supports high performance from everyone. And that's the type of environment Compaq people have created. At its core is respect for the individual. There are many ways this can be demonstrated. But basically, we believe that each person is important and should be treated that way.
I believe that's another fundamental foundation of our company. We don't do a lot of differentiating the people because Everybody in this company makes a contribution.
The corporate culture for Compaq is that it is people, and it is people being heard, not just filling a spot or filling a role, but people being heard.
One of the hard messages for everybody to really grasp and understand is, in fact, that each and every person is important, and that they understand that they have that importance in the culture.
Mutual respect sounds good, of course, but how does it work day to day? There are three basic ideas that you can keep in mind. Maintain open communication, use common sense, and the structure, the substance that holds these pieces together is lead by example. We have to back up our words with action. Open communication is essential. You can't have people building up walls around what they know. We have to make the effort to create an environment where everybody feels open and free to come and go, to ask questions, to give out information freely, or to voice a concern. Of course, we have to handle sensitive information responsibly. And we have to work within our group and with our supervisors responsibly. But also, we have to be willing to listen when someone expresses a concern or an idea in a responsible way. They may have been the first one to spot a problem.
It's the ability to go tell someone, I've got an idea, or a different way to do something, or I don't agree with some activity that we're thinking about doing, or that we are doing, and have an honest hearing, an open hearing, and come to some conclusion. And it may not be the conclusion that the person expected or wanted when they went in. So it's not it's not anarchy.
Why ideas flow freely is why we're successful, and that is that we see things that work better, or we see things that don't work as well, and we're not afraid to say, gee, that didn't work so well. Maybe we need to rethink that, and how can we do it better? And we've done a lot of things like brainstorming processes and processes by which we try to attack things that we've actually done quite well in the belief that we can do them better the next time. And by constantly searching and constantly questioning even how we've done things very, very successfully, we create this environment, though, of success, of that there is no one that's not appreciated.
An environment that, in contrast, that would not be fun is an environment where there are barriers built up between organizations. There are organizations that have their own agenda. They're all working a particular problem. They may not be sharing their data with another group just so their group can look good. That is very counterproductive to the overall goal.
Compaq works as a team. I mean, their whole philosophy of the systems they built is togetherness. I mean, everybody pulls for each other. And it's more like one person can't accomplish a great computer.
All that using common sense means is that we need everybody's best thinking. So it's important to speak up if something doesn't seem right. But give reasons. What seems wrong? How? What action do you think should be taken? An opinion with no reasons behind it can't be acted on or really even discussed intelligently. The people you're working with can't use the information. Think about the problem and contribute your ideas, not just your opinion. The advantage we gain from an open environment is that we have the benefit of everybody's good ideas when a decision is made. We know that you realize how to use good judgment when it's time to speak up, and that you'll both speak and listen responsibly.
And I'm talking about ideas being utilized, and I mean ideas that are supported and come from some logic and have some real meaning, and that the group can see the sense in, not necessarily just because it's my turn to have my idea used.
To me, one of the pieces that makes the most sense is the way we constantly stay in touch with what is happening in the industry. So the products that we introduce mean something, and they just aren't the next greater level in technology, which some of the competition might do. So that makes sense approach dealing with products is very significant.
Creating an environment of openness and common sense is easier said than done. It means speaking up when you may not really want to. Sometimes you'll even have to admit that you were wrong. But that's okay, because the goal isn't to be the one with the right answer. The goal is for the team to come up with the right answer. The best way to show what you mean is to lead by example. We have to back up our words with action. When people say one thing and then do another, they really can cause a lot of harm.
People look to me for direction. They look to me, they watch me for leadership. If I say something and I don't follow it by doing it, they jump on it. They understand. They can pick it out real quickly.
Everybody works together to accomplish a quality machine. And the only way you can have that quality is have the help of your coworkers.
Respect, openness, common sense, setting an example. These are the basics. They come together in the process we follow to set goals and priorities and to decide strategic long-term issues, the process we call consensus management. Sometimes companies put responsibility for complex questions on a single individual and expect him or her to have all the answers. But with a really complex issue, it's hard for any one person to simply have the right answer buried in his or her head. It's far better to bring together the people with the right experience and expertise. In the right environment, they'll always come up with a better answer than any one person could have by themselves.
You only take the appropriate things for consensus management. If you start taking everything to the top, you'll get nothing done. But I believe consensus management happens at all levels in the company. I don't believe it happens just at the Rod Canyon level and the senior executives of the company. I believe it happens at every work group level in the company, and that is to make sure that we're all working together for a common set of goals. And that's what consensus management is about.
In most cases, if a suggestion is offered, it's looked at by a number of people, possibly at a number of different levels, to see if it's something that works not only for this group, but all other groups that might be impacted or touched somehow.
The person that we want at Compaq, for one, has to have a particular skill and experience to go along with that skill. But besides that, there's even a more important aspect, and that's the personality of that person. Is that person going to be somebody who naturally fits into the type of environment that I've discussed? Is he a team member? Is that person very willing to be open with his ideas and share it and work towards a community answer?
I think that we do look for people who are team players. I think that's important in this company because that's one of the things that we care about here is employees who are willing to be a team player.
Compaq has been remarkably successful. We did it by sticking to what may seem like very basic ideas. We'll never say we have a perfect environment. Obviously, that's really not possible. But it is a good environment. It's a very good environment. To stay as good as we are requires everyone's effort, and to improve will require even more effort. We have to communicate what we expect: respect for the individual, openness, a common sense attitude, and following up your words with action. Basically, it all comes down to having a good place to work, an environment where everyone has the chance to do their best. When we all have that chance, the company will do its best. That is what makes Compaq so special, and really what has allowed us to succeed. What is our culture? It's the people and the environment they work in. It is the sum of who we are as individuals, of what we do, and how we do it. It is something we own. We are the ones responsible for it, and the ones who have an obligation to preserve it and enrich it. Each of you make an essential contribution to helping us maintain our culture and to keeping Compaq a place you enjoy working.